This is Unearthed, and in this immersive documentary, we're uncovering the forgotten skills, crafts and knowledge that once shaped everyday life. If that is something you like, please subscribe and consider liking this video so others like yourself can see it. In the open farmyard, museum craftsmen are making preparations here to install a weather shield following a traditional pattern. One begins with the sill beam that carries the entire wall framework. The tough clay, mixed with chopped straw and water, is placed on the board with a two-pronged clay hook. The board was called a spur or plastering board. Thus, bay by bay, the braces, rails and posts are successively covered with clay mortar, which forms the adhesive base. Hazel rods, the so-called hazelgurten, that are to give the next clay layer a firm hold, serve as lath. They too are nailed onto the beams. A supply, which could be fetched from the forest as needed, has already been prepared. Young, finger-thick hazelnut rods are particularly suitable for this purpose because, with their straight growth, they reach the required length.
Bring er nog en dag.
In the next step, a second layer of clay must be applied over the beams. The weather wall, which must be especially protected in the harsh climate, is generally called the Schlagseite in the Eifel, the side of the house that is hit by driving rain. Here it is the stable gable of a farmstead of the so-called house stable type, living quarters with hearthroom and parlour, and the stables united under one roof. The elongated building rests on a rubble stone foundation. This house form was widespread in many variations. The barn here stands as an outbuilding at right angles to the house. On the open farmyard lies the unsorted clay from which the binding mortar for the straw covering is now to be made. The fine, crumbly raw material, sieved to remove stones and roots, is merely mixed with water. For the wall cladding material, one can use only long rye straw, which was formerly also used for thatched roofs.
Op. Bisschen Wasser. Gut. Breng met je reur laat steken.
Waar is die paard staan?
Nou, door de hek.
When combing it out, the bent and unusable ears remain caught on the iron tines. By striking it on the ground, the ends of the stalks in a bundle are brought to the same height. For wall cladding, sections of uniform length are needed. Before cutting, the straw bundle must be tied in several places. Since mowing machines and combine harvesters have been used in agriculture, long straw has become hard to obtain. For the needs of the open-air museum, the straw comes from its own farming operation, where earlier forms of rural work are maintained. With a long-armed lever knife, the straw is cut into equal-length bundles.
Det kan man slikke af.
For the bottom row, the straw sections must be 15 centimetres long.
Der bringer jeg et spyd.
Now the museum craftsman lays on the first layer of straw. A handful of loose straw, whose stalk ends are dipped into the thick, pulpy clay, is spread on the wall and pressed into the clay plaster. The stalk ends that are not coated with clay lie directly on the rubble masonry. They form the edge from which rainwater can drip downward. Gradually, the first layer grows from the right corner post toward the middle of the half-timbered wall. So that the straw adheres above, it is firmly smoothed into the soft base plaster with a trowel and a narrow float.
Der bringer jeg et strø. Derhen.
Then the second covering layer of straw begins, again starting at the right corner post. The now 20 centimetre long straw sections overlap the first layer so that a rainproof, Teplo insulating, heat insulating layer is formed. Straw claddings on weather walls have not survived into modern times in the Rhineland. However, there are reports describing the making of such wall coverings. In the Siegerland region, for example, one first coated the lowest bay of the wall with clay, took a handful of straw, pressed it into the soft base and spread it out. On top of this, a finger-thick split hazel rod was laid and nailed left and right to the beams. The following layers were applied in the same way at intervals of about 4 centimetres until the gable triangle under the roof was reached. The clay used for all rural work used to be taken from communal clay pits located at the edge of the village boundary and today usually overgrown with brush. In autumn, it was dug there with neighbourly help so that it could weather over the winter in front of the pit wall, thereby gaining the right consistency. In common, there were no communal clay pits. The farmers took the necessary supply from their own pits. The pit used by the museum, however, was specially opened for this purpose. By the wheelbarrow load, small amounts are taken from here for work on the straw wall. In the farmyard, the museum craftsmen prepare the clay mortar from clay, chopped straw and water, which is needed as base plaster for the next bay. For the chopped straw, they also use leftovers from the straw bundles that were cut for the wall cladding. Formerly, farmers mostly used hay instead of the more versatile straw.
Ska man inte den där sig? Nej, du måste jetzt immer waschen. Das lassen wir los.
They also mixed ox blood and pig bristles into the clay so that it would achieve the right consistency. Besides wood, clay was the most important building material before it was replaced by cement and mortar. The wall bays of half-timbered buildings were filled with a mixture of clay, chopped straw and sand, and then coated with a clay plaster. The clay must now be thoroughly kneaded. Formerly, in warm weather, people trod it with bare feet. In doing so, they could feel the stones that had to be removed.
Har du något för dem att köpa? Han har fått nog för dem. Ja, det är färdigt.
Meanwhile, work on the wall has progressed further. A scaffold of wooden trestles and planks has now been erected, from which the straw cladding of the upper wall bays can be applied. Clay mortar is applied as binding material for another layer of straw. Applying the straw in small bundles that can be grasped by hand is repeated again and again in exactly the same way. The straw layers resemble dense plumage from which the water can bead off. In the Siegerland, this wool cladding technique was therefore also called feathering. Besides this, there were other durable materials used to create weather protection. The simplest type was wooden boarding or planking of the exposed side. Wool claddings with wooden shingles, such as were also used for roofing, have survived. Long-stemmed moss plants were used so that 20 to 25 centimetres long stems, with the root ends upward, were glued into the clay plaster. They overlapped like tiles and thus offered weather-resistant protection. One always chose the dry season for such work. Rain would wash away the freshly applied clay plaster and loosen the straw from the wall. Thus, as work continues, the gable-side weather wall of the Scheuheck farm will in a few days be completely covered with straw. The straw cladding will then provide the Schlagseite with the same protection against cold and damp that has proven itself for almost 20 years on the neighbouring house from Bodenbach. But if you want to see a feat of craftsmanship even more incredible than this, be sure to check out this next video right here. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel right now.